What's up, everybody? It's your boy Charles. This is a book I wanted to bring to your attention, guys. It's on Audible. It's called The History of Gangster Rap. Really good. Since we're celebrating 50 years of hip hop this year, 2023, man, hip hop is 50 years old. Can you believe that? Almost a half a century. So anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and check out this History of Gangster Rap. I'm gonna come back with my reaction.
There, you got to watch where you go. It made me more alert on how to respect the situation, Yuckmouth added, regarding the release of Bangin' on Wax. There's neighborhoods everywhere. Don't think you're the biggest, roughest, toughest, and that you're the only dude that came from a neighborhood and you're the only dude to own a gun. Stop it. Everybody come from some shit, and it depends on how serious your disrespect is, on if there will be penalties and casualties for wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood, or driving the wrong color car in somebody's neighborhood. Yuckmouth had learned this lesson in real life. His friend and fellow Oakland rapper Drew Down almost lost his life because he was in Los Angeles and wearing the wrong color in the wrong neighborhood. In 1993, Drew Down was in a rolling 60s neighborhood Crips section of Los Angeles, driving in a red car and wearing all red, the color synonymous with the Bloods. This was prior to the release of his popular Pimp of the Year song, meaning that Drew Down's celebrity had yet to peak and that he had yet to become a known commodity in the streets. As he got out of his car and walked toward the door to pick up a girl, he was approached by a teenager on a bicycle. He'd seen him getting out the car and was like, "What's up, cuz?" Yuckmouth said, referencing the Crips' way of greeting one another with cuz. Drew Down was like, "I don't do that shit, man," and walked away. That little boy rode around the corner and came back with the whole neighborhood.
Wow.
The Crips surrounded the residence, and Drew Down was unable to leave the house for approximately 5 hours. One of the elder statesmen from the rolling 60s approached the house and asked to speak with Drew Down. He's like, "Man, I'm Drew Down. I don't do this shit, man," Yuckmouth said. He's like, "But you look like a motherfucking blood because you got the perm. You got the red shit on. You're light-skinned." Then he said, "Check this shit out, man. I'm going to give you my shit. Take that shit off. I'm going to give you my shit. Put this blue shit on. That's only how you're going to come out this house, bro. If not, good luck." Drew Down obliged, changing his outfit and leaving the residence unscathed after the standoff. "It was that serious," Yuckmouth said. "So that's when we knew, oh, this blood crip shit is serious. We know not to go over there with this color or over there with that color." That shit was deeper than rap. You hear the shit and you see the shit on like Menace to Society and shit like that, but we never lived it, because we don't gangbang in Oakland. It's more about pimping and hustling. Once Drew Down and Yuckmouth took stock of the situation, they realized they'd had only a small glimpse into the gravity and intensity of gang culture in Los Angeles, despite what they'd seen in movies and heard in
Isn't that crazy? You got to do all that Jesus, the things we get into, man.
songs. "We had no clue," Yuckmouth said. "It was just an innocent situation. Drew was trying to pick up a girl and was in the wrong neighborhood with the wrong fucking clothes on. But it's something as easy as that could get your ass knocked down if you don't know what the fuck you're doing." Thank God the dude came in and talked to him and got the clothes, or it would have been over for Drew. We wouldn't be hearing about Pimp of the Year right now. So that shit is serious, man. Those motherfucking gangbangers ain't playing. Whereas people outside of Los Angeles may not have understood the city's gang mores, the city's rappers had years of experience dealing with their region's street code. By 1993, Compton's Most Wanted had amassed a huge following, released 3 albums, and had their Growing Up in the Hood featured as a main single on the Boys in the Hood soundtrack. As a solo act, MC8 had his Straight Up Menace featured as the lead single from the Menace to Society soundtrack. Like New Jack City and Boys in the Hood before it, the 1993 film Menace to Society focused on urban black America in the early 90s. But unlike its predecessors, Menace to Society is more overtly violent and primarily focuses on the lives of the criminals and gangbangers themselves, including AWAX, who was portrayed by MC8. As one of gangster rap's preeminent artists, MC8 was mindful of his gang affiliation when he would go throughout Los Angeles to promote his projects. If I knew I'm going to do an in-store in the Blood neighborhood, I'm not finna go over there just irritating a nigga wearing all blue, MC8 said. I'm finna wear green or some gray or some shit so when a motherfucker come in and get his autograph, he's still gonna be like, this fucking Crip nigga. But he's still finna buy that motherfucking tape and get that motherfucking autograph because he not feeling too irritated because let's face it, he's like, I like that motherfucker song, but I'm trying to be true to where I'm from. The idea of being where you're from was used not just to refer to where someone grew up, but to refer more specifically to the premier gang in that neighborhood. To the average listener, that distinction was often lost. In the rap world, though, the hardcore rappers in Los Angeles who were labeled as gangster rappers differed from their New York counterparts who adopted the same style and subject matter as gangster rappers: guns, drugs, violence, profanity, but were not viewed by many artists, journalists, and fans as gangster rappers because they did not rap about Los Angeles gang culture. Indeed, the gangster, street, reality, and or thug rappers not from Los Angeles typically rapped about the blanket persona and habits of a traditional gangster and the criminal lifestyle rather than gangbanging itself. They're not where we're from, MC8 said. LA is considered gangsters, Crips, Bloods.
Yeah,
Now you have that in New York.
right.
But
Most
back
of these
then,
most
when
cities.
you had the Cool G Raps and the Fat Joes and the Mob Deeps, or whoever that were like,
Mob Deep.
yo, we're from the projects. We play craps. We're with the homies with the L, marijuana cigarette, and we're pushing that white girl, cocaine.
Hmm.
They were just looked at as niggas from the projects that was hustlers. They didn't symbolize with gangs. They didn't
Nah.
say we're from 159 Bronx Crips. So it enabled them to go, yeah, there's 15 of us on the block in front of the project selling our shit, ready to bust at you. But they weren't looked at as gangsters because they didn't glorify, I'm a Blood, I'm a Crip. That was the difference. Another difference was that their associations with either red or blue made the Bloods and Crips easily identifiable to both people entrenched in the streets and casual observers alike. Many of the street crews from other cities were not as brazen with their attire. Furthermore, many of the Bloods and Crips sets got their names from their specific streets or neighborhoods, i.e., Hoover Street Crips and Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, which gave them each a geographical ground zero in addition to their color preferences.
Hey, y'all, this is a part of the history of gangster rap. It is on Audible. Really good book, man. Since it's its 50-year anniversary, I've been listening to this, and it just tells you the history of Ice T and Snoop and Ice Cube and um NWA and King T. A lot of people don't know too much about King T, but King T came around at the same time, I believe, as like NWA. He's like an underground legend. King T was from Compton. Who else did they had? Who else did they have? They had South Central Cartel. They were like the South Central. They were like a gangster rap South, like a gangster rap Wu Tang. It was like five or six of them, I think. South Central Cartel. Who else did they have? I'm trying to think. They had a female rapper named Boss back in the day. People don't remember Boss. Boss had one album that came out. She was a dope female rapper. She had like a West Coast type of thing about her. She used to wear like skull caps and stuff and lokes and stuff. Like she used to dress like a West Coast artist, but I don't think she's from the West Coast. But Balls, she was dope. Trying to think of other underground West Coast gangster rap artists that I can remember listening to. Of course, you got Compton Most Wanted, and who else? I used to listen to King T. Uh, a lot of people don't know that Coolio was in a group called WC in the Mad Circle. See, only people from LA know about that group. That was Coolio's first hip hop group. They did two albums. No, I think they did one album he was on. Then he had left the group by the second album. That's Dub C. Dub C is WC in the Mad Circle. But he left after the first album and did his own solo thing. But yeah, he was part of a group called he was first in a group called Low Profile. Then they changed to WC in the Mad Circle. So that's lot of that's a little bit of hip hop history if you for you youngins out there. Anyway, what do y'all think about this, man? Leave your comments, give me the thumbs up button, and subscribe to Charles O'Neill's Girl. Charles O'Neill's Charles O'Neill's Girl. Charles O'Neill's Girl. Charles O'Neill's World. Appreciate you guys watching, man.